What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. The evolution of Vince Staples continues with his sophomore album titled Big Fish Theory. The rapper that Vince was when he first came into the rap game is far removed from where he's at now. That edginess and at times shock value, they're both gone. While like that rebellious and outspoken nature that Vince had in his early music, it still remains. And so those are two qualities that he continues to explore with his music. And he does so on Big Fish Theory with a lot of new sounds. If you're expecting something like the old Vince Staples, I'm sorry, this is going to be a disappointing album for you because the sounds are so unique. There's really nothing in hip-hop / rap that sounds like Big Fish Theory today. With that being said, I want to start off my favorite songs list with the most normal song on the album, 745. In my eyes, I feel like the production doesn't dip outside of the world of rap. This is one of those songs that just sounds really grounded. Like, that is why I liked it a lot. That's why I think it's a great record, because in an album full of experimental sounds, Vince decided to have 745 and it just sounds great. And another reason why it's on the list is because I feel like the subject matter isn't overshadowed. At times on here, the beats are so like energetic and there's so much going on with them that like the lyrics that Vince is spitting, they kind of take on the back burner. Throughout the album, there's like this romantic feel to it, just a little bit. It's here and there. And on 745, you have this clear-cut concept of Vince Staples being in love. It actually spawns some really good lyrics. He says, morning dew's giving you the coldest feet. If you don't know what morning dew is, if you ever walk out 6 in the morning and step on the grass and it's wet, that's morning dew. Just a little, lesson from Dr. Sermon or Mr. Sermon, whoever. And then the other two lines that I really enjoyed were, this thing called love is real hard for me. This thing called love is a god to me. That whole second verse was incredible. My other favorite record is Yeah Right, featuring Kendrick Lamar and Kuka. This song is pretty much 3 mini songs in one. You have Vince's part, he does 2 verses. You have Kuka's bridge, which is beautiful. And then you end it with Kendrick's Rampage. I thought the breakdown of each section was perfect. There are a couple lines from Kendrick's verse that stand out the most. He said, looking for my next roadkill for the headlight, hanging through my last 4 kills for the highlights. So basically saying he's working towards his next album already. Not sure that it'll come anytime soon, but he's working towards his next kill. And that he already has 4 kills in his rear view, which is his debut album, his sophomore album, To Pimp a Butterfly. I'm guessing he counts Untitled, Unmastered, and his latest album, Damn. Can I talk about some critical thoughts I had while listening to Big Fish Theory? The first is that Vince Staples is not really good at hooks. I feel like more than often, all these hooks are like repeat, repeat, repeat. Like phrase here, phrase, 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 like over and over again. And I get it though, because the more that I listen to this music, the more I can tell that in a sense, Vince kind of crafted this the same way that Run the Jewels does. Run the Jewels, in my opinion, makes music for performances. They're on all kind of festival lineups and they're constantly touring, and that's exactly the lane that Vince is in. And so these songs will definitely sound good in a concert setting. The question though is, does it translate well when you're listening to it just in the comfort of your own home? I don't think it does. That's just my own personal opinion. To me, and someone might disagree, it just comes off as lazy. Vince rarely has memorable hooks for me. I think my favorite on the album was 745. And that's not really like a mind-blowing hook, so that kind of tells you my stance on his hooks. Also, I feel as though Vince's lyrics would work better over different production. I like that Vince is able to experiment, that he's not afraid to go out and do some future house music or have some techno infused in the beat. That's cool, but I also feel like, and I mentioned this earlier, it overshadows what he's saying. And then you have like the mixture of it. It's weird to be talking about like your world, like being in Long Beach or being black in America, when it's over like a techno sounding beat, something that you would party to. And I know Vince is not the first person to use this tactic. No, there's been artists in the past that do this, but I don't think it really ever works. However, it brings up the point, would the music stand out as much if it were just like the regular Vince Staples lyrics over some like fitting production, some rap type of production? And I think that is probably like a big selling point because Vince does sound unique. And I'm not saying that I hate the music. I'm just saying that for the most part, it's not for me. It's not catching me. It's not something that I plan on listening to throughout the year. I respect it. And at times I like it. But I think the whole album being structured like that is just not something that I'm into. Vince Staples doesn't like to discuss his music in great detail like some rappers. I read yesterday his piece with Pitchfork, and one of the things that jumped out at me is the fact that he said in like 10 years when he's washed up, and who knows, he could be, but I feel like Vince is going to be around for many years until he decides to retire. I know he was kind of toying with that idea. But back to the Pitchfork interview, he said that when 10 years is up and he's washed, he's going to come back with a book deal and kind of explain like all his music and his albums. And I like that idea. I think more rappers should be writing books on their music. Mainly the ones that actually have something to say, something to break down. Like, I'm not expecting certain rappers of this generation to one day write a book on why they did this trap record or how they structured this. Like, it just it doesn't have as many layers as Vince Staples' music does. And so whether or not he actually does plan to make a book one day, I would definitely want to read that. I would want to hear things from the mind of Vince Staples. I want to know what the Big Fish theory means to Vince and the structure of it and the concepts and how everything ties together. Like, you notice I didn't really talk about the concept because I'm still kind of unraveling it. I may or may not do like a follow-up video discussing the concept. But it's one of those projects where you only have your own interpretation. At the end of the day, I can only talk about how I interpret the music until the day that Vince Staples decides to break it down for us, hopefully in book form. So those are my thoughts on Vince Staples' sophomore album, Big Fish Theory. After you listen to it, let me know what you think about it in the comments section. Are you feeling the sounds? Does this album work for you? What do you think about everything I was saying in my review? Talk to me in the comment section below, and then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter at Sermons Domain, and as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, peace.